The Christmas offensive of 1937 has finally managed to dislodge the stubborn defenders in Valparaiso. Most of them were Mexican troops that were dug in there, but attacking from all sides, even though our troops are relatively exhausted, has finally broken through. And once we've taken Valparaiso, that opens up the front towards northern Chile, and hopefully once we take their secondary capital, that will lead to Chile's capitulation. So we will try to push through towards the north once this is taken here and try to get Chile kicked out of the war. After that, we'll take on Paraguay, and that just leaves the rebellion Patagonian Workers' Front. And then finally, we would end up with a strengthened Argentina, which is friendly to us. In the north, the American war has seen some movement on the front lines. We have managed to encircle some troops, but our divisions are under severe pressure in the east. So we are rushing two of the Sturmdivision eastwards across the river, trying to relieve the embattled troops and help with eradicating the encircled American divisions here. And then we will return to the strategic objective of potentially taking Charlotte and expanding the supply situation here, and also depriving some of these troops in the mountains here of their supply, hopefully leading to a further stabilization of the front lines. And the Bulgarian situation, Bulgaria has actually managed to push north and has taken some Romanian territory, but unfortunately the supply situation isn't great because we don't have a railway connection to Craiova, and there's no easy way of actually taking that because generally there's no railway connection between these areas at all. So the best way we could potentially fix this would be by pushing north towards Constanza and taking that position, but there are strong enemy forces in the area, so it's not a likely and then do a Black Sea supply line. It's not a likely possibility. How does the air situation look like? This is something I haven't actually checked in a while. So we do have the second Jagdgeschwader over Patagonia, and there are a couple of Chilean fighters in the air, but not an awful lot anymore. In the northern scenario, taking the airport of Raleigh would allow us to bring the fourth Jagdgeschwader into the region, but given that there are 200 British and 100 Syndicalist fighters up in the air, it's not an easy task to bring those to bear. So let's have a quick look at home. That's on the general air situation. We do still have a fighter wing up here. Do we have any? We've got a couple of Heinkels at this point, but not enough to actually create an air wing out of it. And we've got a couple of interwar fighters in reserve, so still not an awful lot. Other than that, politically, things are heating up in Germany. But let's see if we can make some progress on the front lines here. Probably the most critical is the Union volunteers. And the question is, are the Sturmdivision going to be making it into the defensive lines before? It's going to take them 2 days to get there. They might be able to hold that, but we are getting pushed back here, and if they reconnect, then these troops are liberated. So we're sending reinforcements, and as quickly as possible. And we have taken Valparaiso, which means we now can check how far Chile is not very far from capitulation anymore. So I think the logical next push will be north. I am going to leave that division here. They're pretty well dug in, and that should assist. That should give them the opportunity to hold the southern flank there. And we're going to get 3 divisions with the goal of taking Copiapó. I hope I pronounced that correctly. So we'll move them north from Valparaiso and that was a major victory. So 20,000 troops defeated of the Socialist Republic of Mexico, and 20,000 troops have surrendered to minor German losses. So that was a good one. Let's get while the troops in South America are reorganizing. Let us get back here. So I'll send these troops north again, on the Sturmdivision here, just to make sure we're holding the territory. And while I'm sending reinforcements along the flank here to assist, I think their forced attack has run out. And the Irish situation is deteriorating. I think last time I checked, we were actually quite well ahead in terms of we're 255 points. The British are 220. So we have a lead when it comes to Ireland. But let's see what's going down here. Important news has arrived in Germany from the Irish Republic, as ethnic tensions between the Gaelic and Catholic nationalities and the Anglo-Saxon and Protestant loyalists in the country's north have exploded. We're having the troubles. The Irish have been, for years, friendly to Germany and have benefited much from a mutual beneficial trading relationship within Middle Europa. However, they have so far been reluctant to commit to a military alliance and attempted to maintain a position of neutrality, seeking also to continue trade with the Union of Britain for economic reasons, despite the danger of syndicalist infiltration. Yeah, we've seen that firsthand. For the Navy and the Auswärtiges Amt, this is less than desirable, considering the island's strategic importance in a potential war against the International. And German agents and diplomats have kept in close contact with Irish officers to ensure that the Irish army remains a bastion of Germanophile sentiment. With the ability of the government to preserve national stability in doubt and German influence on the Isle maintained in spite of Black Monday's upheaval, the Irish military have begun to consider a coup d'etat and reached out in secret to German representatives for their support in the replacement of the present Irish administration with one more aligned with German interests and capable of restoring order and defending against the syndicalist threat. This activates the Irish government in crisis. Okay. So there might be yet another civil war that we might have to get involved in. Why is Ireland so important for the Navy? Well, going back to the Great War, or going back to the World War, our Navy is pretty much bottled up in the North Sea, protecting the German coast as well as the Baltic lines. However, if we can manage to get a safe port in Ireland, that would give us an opportunity to station ships out into the open Atlantic and cut any kind of potential trade routes that the British are having with any kind of foreign influence. Now, we're not going to be able to contest the Channel that easily, but at least the British can't easily embargo us, which is probably the more important factor. Because right now we are having supply routes that go around Africa into our colonies. And right now we have the Azerbaijan situation, which is relying on river transfer along the Russian border, which is less than ideal. So potentially we can have alternate routes through the Ottoman Empire and then around the Horn of Africa as well. But this requires that we have some manner of control over the Atlantic. And yes, we have closed off the English Channel to all kinds of transport, because we definitely do not wish to go through there. And probably the same goes for the Bay of Biscay. So let's cut that off very quickly to make sure that Ireland is very important for securing our supply routes. Now, what impact does that have? Okay, we're 90 days away. We've got 35 points lead. Somebody, I think, mentioned that we could use some army XP. I am really conservative with my army XP, mostly because of doctrines, because we are still not running any doctrines at this point, and we don't have a land doctrine. Now, I'm sort of thinking of two choices. Either I'm going to go down superior firepower, and that would give a good boost to organization, soft attack, and defense. Or if we have to play defensively at the beginning, I'm more interested in going down Grand Battle Plan, because that gives us 10 max entrenchment, not 10%, 10 points of max entrenchment, which is huge. And unfortunately, the second one is not that great. It gives us a higher planning bonus, which is not bad. But in the entrenchment, especially in the early game, can be hugely powerful. We do not have a chief of army just yet, and we still have the option of switching to partial mobilization to increase the construction speed. Both of them are important, but given the bonuses we get from doctrines, I am going to go for the chief of army first. All right, troops have arrived. I am going to get where was it? This division to fall back here, and we've got the second division to move in just to secure this position. Actually, the Germans are potentially holding the position. So we might just leave one division here, and we have a new Middle Europa summit. So what's the idea expired? Please go away. What is the current? Oh, I can't look. Okay, so we've got two choices. We can get 5% construction speed and 5% factory output, or we can get infantry, artillery, and armor production cost reduced. Given that 5% factory output is doing that, but for everything, plus I get 5% construction speed, I think that's a no-brainer. So we're going for that one. And then what is the next we can do? One civilian factory, one military factory, one infrastructure, that one, or consumer goods factories. I'm a vote for consumer goods factories. So let's see what that gets us. Bulgaria. I think the situation is sort of stabilized here at this point. We may actually be able to pull some of these troops off. So if I get, let me get 2 of the Sturmdivision north and see if we can manage to, we're not going to encircle anyone, but see if we can manage to assist, no, not as an army group command. So let's get these 2. Let's bring them across the river, and you please see if we can assist with taking this position. That would cut the troop exchange between Serbia and Romania. So that would be a quite significant position to hold. But I'm going to leave the rest of the troops there. So let's just move them over and see if we can manage to assist there. Okay, Argentina. We are holding the position in the south, but they have left Santiago undefended, so I am going to have to bring one division over, unfortunately. So we'll leave one division here to dig in. We'll bring one division to Santiago, because that is essential. And I'll bring the 2 Sturmdivision north, and in that case, we'll bring them north, and we will try to counterattack once they have, well, presumably once their attacks burned out. Okay, back to the Union. Let's see if we can get the troops in position here. How long do we have on the Black Monday? Just making sure that I don't miss that. Okay, Paraguay has actually. Oh, this is huge. Paraguay has sealed a peace deal, the Treaty of Asunción. And Paraguay has been significantly reduced by the looks of it. So that frees up a lot of Argentinian troops to hopefully help with the push here. That is great news. So well done, Argentina. Let's get us back to the Union, where things are most interesting at this point. And these troops are now cut off from supply, so we'll let them stew there for a second until we have a second division that has fallen back. But the American troops have reinforced the lines here as well. So that should, once we have one division in place here, then we can launch the attack and wipe these out, and then we'll focus. Mongolia has declared war on the Marklik. Okay. Oh yeah, we had actually over in Central Asia, we have a Russian incursion, and we might be able to send some supply. We might be able to send some volunteers here, because there are actually a couple of supply lines. So just to hold against the Russians, that might not be a terrible idea. Would they accept volunteers? I could send 4 divisions. So I'm stretching my troops here significantly at this point, unfortunately. We have a couple of infantry divisions, but they need to exercise actually. So let's take some experienced divisions, put them into a new army. And these are the, what are we dealing here with? Alash Orda. Okay, so these are the Alash Orda Expeditionary Force. And we will assign somebody. Who do we have left here? We've got a hill fighter. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. So let's get Wilhelm List, and we will see if we can send some volunteers over and support against Russia. So let's see how well this works. We'll send 4 divisions over. And here we are. Okay, we've made it in time. We are holding the lines against the Chilean counterattack, and we are defending right now in the north. So once that mountain division gets pushed back, we should be relatively clear to move. So Union volunteers are still on the way. I should have one more. Yeah, I've got one more division here. So they're currently on the defensive against a significant onslaught here. So as long as, yeah, okay, they've managed to get in. So let's see if we can take these guys out in the meantime while the second division is defending in the north. Troops in Argentina have arrived at the front line, which means we are a bit exhausted, but so is the enemy. So we will use that to our advantage and immediately push towards Valenar. And I think we can get through that relatively easily. That's worked. And here, this is working out. And here, our troops are in position. So we will support that push here and see if we can take this mountain position. Or this hill position. Unfortunately, these troops are pretty well entrenched, so I don't have the greatest of hopes that we can make this happen. But we'll give it a try and see if it's going to work out. Here, I am going to have to start shortening the line, honestly, and we are going to try to support Charlotte. So let's get these divisions. Yeah, let's get all these divisions on this line just to hold here. And I'm going to send one division over just to make sure we're holding this position here north of Charlotte. And then we will see what happens next. Meanwhile, in Germany. In Germany, things are about to get spicy. Bavaria sues Schleicher. The Zentrum-dominated government of Bavaria has announced an unprecedented decision. They are taking the government of Kurt von Schleicher to the Bundesrat for gross violations of the Constitution. The decision was accepted without significant dissent by Heinrich Held's cabinet and was communicated to Berlin the day after, immediately picked up by newspapers and the public. The Bundesrat has been compared to the Senate and the House of Lords as an upper house of the German parliament, though it holds different duties and is considered separate from the Reichstag. It is an assembly of representatives from Germany's federal states, which rules on certain government procedures, such as dissolutions of the Reichstag or Reichsexekution, and it also serves as the Supreme Constitutional Court of the Empire. Never before had it had to rule on a case where a member state takes the federal government to court, however, only on disputes within and between states. The Bavarian government declares that Reichskanzler Schleicher's reforms are a violation of the federal principles of the empire, and some of them have even violated the constitution. In addition, Schleicher has yet to give up his emergency powers in spite of said emergency having passed. The fact that Bavaria is the state championing the federal cause is not unexpected. Historically, it was the most protective of its autonomy among imperial states and extracted greater concessions than any other state in the compromise which led to the foundation of the empire in 1871. The decision of the Bundesrat may soon test the durability of this compromise. This is fascinating. So what's happening? Well, Germany is a federal state. We've got Prussians, we've got Bavarians, and a couple of other things. Traditionally, the Prussians and the Bavarians don't get along with each other very well, although Prussia was usually the more powerful faction, or the most powerful faction in the empire. And it seems that the Bavarians are now starting a concerted effort. So Bavaria would be the sort of Catholic center, Catholic conservative center that we're dealing with here, rather than the somewhat more right-wing militaristic Prussians or the more left-wing liberals and social democrats and similar. So they are apparently disgruntled about von Schleicher's measure and von Schleicher's government. Bavaria has a bit of a history of, maybe one day we'll declare our own state and do a secession. So I'm hoping we're not heading for a civil war here. But one thing that strikes me as odd is the expression that the crisis has passed. The crisis has not passed. Yes, the emergency powers were enacted in order to deal with local uprisings, but the syndicalist threat is real. It's right here. And we are fighting. German troops are fighting and dying to protect the world from the syndicalist threat all over, on multiple continents at this point. There are active conflicts going on in Central Asia, in Europe, in South and North America to contain the syndicalist threat. How is the threat over? So who do they think they are indeed? Now that's going to get interesting, I'm assuming. So yeah, we'll see what comes of that. But more importantly right now is the push north. So I'm not sure what happened here. I think there might have been an ongoing fight that I didn't join or something. But okay, we're holding Santiago. I'm going to leave a division here because I don't trust the Argentinians to do that. And we will try to clean up. And I think Argentina has cleaned up whatever was in the north here. And they are actually attacking from the north as well, which is great. So Chile has been cut through in 2 places. And I think once the capital falls, then that'll be the end of the Chilean government. And we are doing okay here. Yeah, these troops are exhausted and surrounded, so they're not going anywhere. And in Bulgaria, we are actually making progress. Despite some of our troops being relatively low on supply, we are actually making progress here. So if we can take this position, then that cuts the divisions here in half. So that'd be a good one to have, and then we can have another attempt at Serbia and maybe finally resolve this. So the Americans are trying to relieve, but I've got enough divisions here dug in that they are being pushed back, while their troops are wiped out in the south. And in Argentina, we are pushing through these exhausted mountain divisions. And the Italian civil war resumes. Oh dear. Unsurprisingly, the Socialist Republic of Italy has declared war. So, what's going on here? Socialist Republic of Italy is the north, and these guys are... Oh, these are the troops we've actually destroyed in South America. I thought they were Mexican for some reason. They are syndicalist, so definitely the enemy. And then we have Rome, which is probably the Pope, I would assume. Yes, that looks very That looks very much like the Pope. And we have the two Sicilies, which are authoritarian democrats. So they're certainly on our side. Does that mean I'm going to have to yet again send support? I think it does, because if Italy turns socialist, syndicalist, that would be a massive blow to the southern flank. Whereas if we can get Italy on our side, that would make for a probably much more stable Mediterranean if we can organize it. Yeah, we definitely don't want to have another flank in the south here of syndicalism. So world tension goes up by 6, and that is a lot. And we'll see if we can send volunteers. So once again, I'm going to take a couple of divisions. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get them into a new army. And who are we going to send this time? We'll send Kaiserreich. And this is going to be the Italy Expeditionary Force. Okay, Italy, send volunteers, the Italy Expeditionary Force, and air volunteers as well. There we go. How many medium bombers do I have at this point? Because 20. Doesn't quite an air wing make, but we'll see what the situation is. I might bring some in. So we will assist the Italians as well now. And how does it look here? Okay, massive pushback. Yeah, volunteers on the way. Massive pushback here in the north. And I think we can hold that. And we are still working on wiping these troops out here against any kind of syndicalist attempts of reconnecting their lines. And we are breaking through in Argentina, which is good. And we are making progress in Bulgaria. We're going to have an awful lot more things to do in a reasonably short time. We have 100 political power, and political power is really hard to come by. So that's another reason I'm actually tempted to delay the partial mobilization a little bit, because the political power gain gets actually reduced quite a fair bit. But it is time to get Kurt von Hammerstein-Eckward as Chief of Army to finally boost our army experience gain, and that would help quite a bit. I would love to send attachés, but I just don't have the political power. So the next 150 political power will go into partial mobilization, and we probably also need to go up into limited conscription at some point. So but we still have to fill in Chief of Air Force, the Military High Command. There's a lot of things that we need to do in order to turn Germany into an actual viable fighting force at this point. How far away are we? 79 days in the Ireland crisis. We're well ahead at this point. And 66 days on the Black Monday, which is going to further improve our consumer good factories. Right now we are building still a mix of civilian factories and military factories and a couple more dockyards. Talking about which, yeah, we definitely need more dockyards to get the Navy up to speed. I know that somebody said your Navy isn't going to invade Paris. No, it isn't. But still, once these are complete, actually some will flow through. But we definitely need some more battleships as well. I just don't have the dockyards for it just yet. So for now, the Navy as it stands is just exercising. We do have, what is this? We do have one of the Strasbourgs is finished. That is nice. She can go into the, I think, second Schlachtgeschwader is going to get the Strasbourg, right? Honestly, I can't remember the design. So as a last action today, let's have a very quick review of our our naval templates here. The Strasbourg class is that's a scout cruiser, is it, more or less? So I might actually do I have an actual? I have the Aufklärungsgruppe, but these guys are. Yeah, I've got these in the North Sea. They've got the two Yorks and two Strasbourgs. Okay, so they can join the Aufklärungsgruppe. And these will be tasked with effectively finding enemy shipping. So I want them to operate in teams if possible. So we've got two Strasbourgs right here, which need to be refitted at some point as well. But for now, we've got two Strasbourgs here, and yes, I did realize that some of my troops are not actually up to scratch. So let's get all divisions exercising just to make sure everyone is trained up from the First Army Group. And there we have it, a new crisis looming at home with Bavaria threatening the empire and the stability of it, and a new civil wars breaking out in Italy. But it looks like we might be getting Argentina across the line relatively soon. And we are still fighting in the north with the unions, and we are still recruiting a fair amount of infantry. And yes, we will once the next research slot comes in. 7 days, we've got the Gewehr 38 done, but in a couple of days we also get another research slot, so we can speed things up a little bit and do that. And meanwhile, our agents are infiltrating Russia.